Obligation and contracts. Hi everyone, my name is Desiree Santiago Plaza, BSBEFM 2C, and I will be discussing the Article 1179, 1180, and 1181 of the Law of Obligation and Contracts. First, let's talk about the Article 1179. Under the Article of 1179, it is said that every obligation whose perform does not depend upon a future or uncertain event, or upon a past event unknown or parties, it is demandable at once. Every obligation which contains a resolutory condition is small also be demandable without prejudice to effects of happening of the event. The first sentence is actually talks about a fair obligation. A fair obligation is one which is not subject to any condition and no specific date is mentioned for its fulfillment and is thereof immediately demandable. For example, Brian promised to deliver the order shoes to Daisy because there is no condition, no specific date is mentioned for its fulfillment. Therefore, Daisy can demand for a delivery of the shoes. Another example, Mr. Nicolas obliges to pay Mrs. Sanchez 30,000 pesos. Immediately demandable, there is no condition and no date is mentioned for its fulfillment. The second sentence of the Article 1179 actually talks about the condition obligation. A condition obligation is one whose consequences are subject in one way or another of the fulfillment of a condition. Condition is a future and uncertain event upon the happening of which effectively or extinguishment of an obligation or right subject to its depends. Let's proceed to a characteristic of a condition. First, future and uncertain. In order to constitute an event of a condition, it is not enough that it be a future, it must be uncertain. The first paragraph of 179 obviously used the adjective or between future and uncertain to distinguish pure obligation from both condition obligation, and one with a period, be that as it may, the word or should be end. Second is the past but unknown. A condition may refer to a past event unknown the parties. It is refers to a future event, both its very occurrence and the time of such occurrence must be uncertain. Otherwise, it is not a condition because a condition must be impassible. There are two principal kinds of a condition. First, it is a suspensive condition, a condition precedent or condition antecedent. Its fulfillment give rise to an obligation. It's not a fulfilled, no obligation will raise. Second, resolutory condition. Subsequent extinguish the obligation which is already existing. When obligation demandable at once. An obligation is demandable at once, first, when it is fewer. Second, when it is a subject to a resolutory condition. Third, when it is the subject is a resolutory period. And now let's talk about the Article 1180. When the debtor bids himself to pay when his means permit him to do so, the obligation shall be demanded to the one with a period subject to the provision of Article 1197. A period is a future and certain event upon the arrival of which obligation subject it is either erased, it is extinguished. First, the debtor promised to pay when his means permit him to do so. Second, other cases: A. Little by little, B. Soon as possible, C. At time to time, D. As soon as I have the money, E. At any time to have the money, F. A partial payment, G. When I am a position to pay. And now, the Article 1181. In a condition obligation, the acquisition of rights as well as the extinguishment or loss of those already acquired shall depend upon the happening of the event which constitute a condition 114. Effects of happening the condition. Acquisition of rights and obligation subject to a suspensive condition. The acquisition of rights by the creditor depends upon the happening of the event which continues the condition. Example for Article 1181. Mr. Velasquez sold his property to a Green Acres Inc. on September 26, 2019. If the purchaser failed to secure reasoning, the selling agreement started that the deal would be cancelled and the parties would be restored to their former position. That's all. Thank you.